What's going on? Born for Sports. Last night, the Knicks have clinched the 3 seed and will play Detroit round one officially the next week in the NBA playoffs. I want to come out and talk a little Knick basketball. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how the Knicks go forward in the playoffs, and because there's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of talk out there. The Knicks have not done well against the top two teams in the Eastern Conference that are in their way if they are going to compete for an NBA championship. And it's fair to say those two teams right now, you have to say, are better than the Knicks. Um, Even though I do feel the Knicks are capable of competing with those teams and going toe to toe with them in a 7 game series. But there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. You can only do it on paper so long. After a while, you got to do it on the court. And the Knicks have been a team, as far as like with a new trade right before training camp, all season they've been kind of building cohesion with each other, and stuff like that. But when it comes time to play those top tier teams, you got to show up sooner or later. And they have been more competitive lately against those teams, but they haven't beaten them. So there's questions out there. There's questions out there that cannot be ignored, even if you're the biggest Knicks fan like myself. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But first, I definitely want to say congratulations to the Knicks for the 3rd seed. And the playoffs are around the corner, baby. I can't wait. They have one more regular season game against Brooklyn. Who cares? The inevitable is that they probably won't even play anybody that day, I would imagine. So it's full steam ahead. It's full steam ahead to see what happens after that. So we're going to talk about the positives right now and the negatives, but we're going to talk about the positives going in. The Knicks are finally healthy. They've finally got a healthy team. It seems like they've been chasing hell for most of the second half of the season. It started off with Mr. Mitchell Robinson. Whenever he was ready to play, they were very cautious with him, took their time. They realized what he means, what he brings to the team. We all know Mitch's injury history. We all know it. It's not a good one. So the Knicks got the job done and accomplished that. They got him in the second half of the season and healthy finally, ready to rock in the playoffs. We're going to need it, as the Knicks defense on this team is not what it has been in the last couple of years. So they have to make sure that one of the key pieces to help offset that is right. And you know what? Mitchell Robinson is going to be a big part of this team going forward, man, if they're going to have any success and make a run in this playoff run. So that's a big deal. Also, we all know Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, man, he got injured, when he was on a roll for us. We all know the captain, one of the best players in basketball. And when he got hurt, it really, really set the team into a little tailspin during the season when they were actually on their way hitting that stride, and it kind of threw them back, And that sprained ankle that he's coming back from is something we have to monitor. It's something we have to monitor, because without Jalen Brunson, the Knicks have no shot. No shot. Okay? As you can see, they're already having a tough time against teams like Cleveland, against teams like Boston. Without Jalen Brunson right, it's a wrap. So they need to get him right. And it looks like slowly but surely, since he's returned, steady by steady, he's looking like himself. He's looking like himself. He's starting to get that conditioning going. That's going to be a big key. So it could have been a blessing in disguise, the injury, if he comes back right, because it gave him some downtime to go full go. And we're going to need the Jalen Brunson that we got last season in the playoffs to show up. And that's going to be a big deal. A big deal. So that's a big plus. OG Anunoby, he got injured like in a little bit around, I would say early March or whatever it was, missed a few games, but he has really had a really good season since coming back, man. He has been on a tear. And we all know OG, one of the best two-way wing players in basketball, is even showing now that he's becoming an even better player. Aggressive OG is always a good OG for the New York Knicks. I've always said that. And now we are seeing that aggressiveness on the offensive end now coming into fruition. He has really established himself now as the go-to third scorer on this team behind Cat and behind the captain. You know, Bridges has been up and down, but he's been solid also. Ever since Brunson got injured, the team guys have stepped up. But OG Anunoby is really taking a step. And to have him fully healthy going into the playoffs is a huge deal. Look how great the Knicks looked last year when he was healthy. They went in and beat Philly in the first round, and they were on their way to Indy when he got injured. When he got injured in game one, man, it really hurt the team and in that series and prevented them from getting over the hump to get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So let's hope that this is a do-over and we get that fully healthy OG Anunoby going forward. So, hey, Cat, we all know how important he is to this team. We all know how important he is to this team. He is the second guy on this team behind the captain that is a big part of the offense. The struggles on defense are there. We know he's not there to be this great defender. That's not who he is. But Cat is an all-NBA defender, probably the best shooting big in basketball. And him getting right is a big deal too. Listen, he's been playing with some injuries. He's been toughing it out. Shout out to him for getting through it. You know what? This week off is going to help him get right, and hopefully it'll be full go because we are going to need that. Teams are going to go after Brunson, especially in that first round against Detroit, who are a physical team. We're going to need Cat to step up, and we'll get into that another time. But Cat, this is going to be a big deal, him getting healthy as well, man. So let's see what happens. Now, the negative right now with the team is the Knicks have no momentum heading into the playoffs. They've lost their last 3 games, which is not ideal. Now, we have to hold into context as well in this period, okay, that they have been resting players. The Boston game, they rested a lot of their players, and they lost that game in overtime. Against Cleveland, Cleveland was resting players, so were the Knicks. Cat didn't play last night. They lost the game. Okay. What is the common denominator there? Well, in those games, the last 3 games, even in Detroit is another game. They had a back-to-back, of course, with Detroit and Cleveland last night's loss. Detroit was the game, I should say, that they were resting players, a lot more players than they did against Boston. And what happened? They lost. What is the common denominator in those 3 games? They blew leads. They blew leads in the fourth quarter. The Knicks have to tighten up, man. They got to tighten up in them fourth quarters. Okay, they have to. All right, I don't care who's on the court. You got to tighten up and you got to hold down those teams because in the playoffs, those things get you beat. They'll get you beat, and key games like that, losing those games, cost you series. So, hey, the Knicks don't have the momentum that they had last year going to the playoffs. They're going to need to turn on. And will they be able to turn it on? We will see. But right now, it does not feel good to see the Knicks playing like this heading into the playoffs. I mean, I know you want to rest your players, but you got to win those games. You got to show that you have the DNA and the grit to get those games, man. You know, it's not always about winning with your talent. It's also about the grit and the want to get it done. And last year's team, they had that grit. They weren't the most talented team on the court, but they had that grit to finish games, the mental toughness to finish those games. The Knicks this year have not shown with this court so far, I preface so far, that they have that grit. They better show it next round because they're going to need it. This is when it's not cutting time, you know, as they say. Now, a question that we all have. the elephant in the room. Is Coach Tibbs capable? Is he capable of taking a team to the next level? We all know Coach Tibbs is a good coach. We all know that, this team is one of the best teams in the NBA. But it's fair to ask, because of the track record with Tibbs and his career, is he the right coach to take a team to the next level? That's where the Knicks are at. They're at that precipice of getting to the next level, and they have to find out whether the number one is the core right, and number two is the coaching staff, the front office right to do it. Well, I'm confident in the front office. The core is the core. There's still pieces that need to be addressed in the summer for the bench, but is this going to be your main core? Your main core that you're ready to build and say we can get into that next level. Tibbs has to show that he is capable of making those adjustments in game and in series to beat other teams. And when they counter with something that they aren't ready to stop, you got to be ready as well. The stubbornness, we all know with Tibbs, is out there. He's got to be better at that too. I've always said I like Coach Tibbs, but I don't like how he doesn't play his young players. And sometimes he's just a little too much with the minutes of, not taking guys out in blowouts and not going out on that level, or shortening rotations on back-to-backs. You got to be better than that. The stubbornness with Tibbs, with his defensive philosophy and his scheme, all of those questions are going to be on tap when the playoffs start next week. Knicks Nation, salute. Let me know how you feel about the comments. How do you feel about this Knicks team going into the playoffs? And do you think that this coach is the right one to take us to the next level? And don't forget to like and subscribe to Born for Sports. Let's go Knicks.